empty waiting room. Admit them all. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm excited. Let's get the tunes going. This is the bag I'm in, so bear with me. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm not on mute. Okay, I'm not on mute. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Am I supposed to change? Hi, everyone. Oh, my name is James on here. Oh, my bad. That's my partner's name. Okay. I'm excited. We will be getting started in like 3 more minutes. You know, we talking about the artist's way, playing with our inner child. And my inner child, when she hear this, she be like, oh. Yes. Let's chat. Let's all get in the chat. Where we from? Where are we from? Atlanta. Oh, Canada's in the building. Who should be heard? Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. Baby, let me know. Don't let me know. Don't let me know. Don't let me know. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna be starting in 1 more minute. What we sipping on today? Next one. What are we sipping on today? Hit me in the comments. Gonna be. Shit, I done spilled it. Damn. Too hype. That's why you can't be too hype. You get too hype. What's that? I'm Spilliana. What? Man, man. That's how we started. All right. Yes. H2O say you're. Okay. Oh, nah. I'ma chill.
Ooh, nice and loud.
I'ma chill. It's going crazy. Okay. Guys, hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited. We will be focused on, we'll be focused on The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This book is so awesome. I read it several times, but I never finished it. Hence the reason why this group is gonna hold me accountable. We're gonna hold one another accountable and just push each other forward. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ariel Simone. I am a holistic nutritionist. I teach people of color, predominantly Black women, how to eat for energy, how to understand who we are as emotional eaters, and just how to transform our relationship with food, because that's really important, and just how to feed our lives in other ways outside of food. You heard? So that's
Period.
yes, that's what I'm about. I'm really excited. I started this book maybe I want to say 2017, and it completely changed my life. And once a year, I read it over and over again. And every single time, it just hits different every time because we're just in a different stage. We read different things, like different things just speak out to us. And it's just overall an amazing, amazing book. I highly, highly recommend. Let me put my notes up. Guys, I'm so excited. Thank you. I can't stop saying that because I'm super grateful. I'm in a big grateful bag. Okay, so this book, I'm gonna tell you right now, the emotional intelligence is going up. You feel me? The self-awareness is going up. The higher creativity is going up. Like everything is about to be a hit, and I'm just excited. It teaches us to be grounded. It teaches us to get rooted in our purpose and who we are. It teaches us how to move in alignment with our higher purpose and the things that we want to be in, the places that we want to be in. It teaches us how to play. You feel me? I feel like once we became adults and you got to pay your bills, we don't play. We'll watch a comedy, we'll laugh, we'll kiki with our friends, but we don't play. And what I mean by play is literally like the playground, like have a creative hobby. And that's the thing. That's where I want to start off at. Let's hit the chat, or you can even unmute yourself if you want. Like, do we have creative hobbies? And if so, what are your creative hobbies? What creative bags do y'all get in? Okay, acting. That's what's up. Yeah.
Ever since I've started to learn more about the inner child, I'm literally going back to third grade level arts and crafts, like I'm just like no expectations, just paint to the pad and see what happens.
Yeah, just see what it's hitting for. Like we really don't know. For me, my 2021 goal was I really wanted to add more adventure to my life, more excitement, more creativity. I feel like 2020 was so heavy. We was all surviving. We were like, I just felt like 2021, I want to live a little bit more. I don't think I lived. I think I associated travel and going outside with living. And it's quiet for all that. Like I really, really, really just want to live more. And adventure could be just trying a new recipe. Adventure could be reading a new book. An adventure could be going on a movie binge. An adventure could be anything. So it's just finding the adventure in the little things and just making sure you dedicate time to being more creative, being more joyful, doing the things that feel good. So, and that's all that's everything that I'm about, and I like to preach about as well. So another thing this book is going to force us to do is to stay present. I know that's hard. We're always thinking about the future, what we got to cook, what we're going to eat later, who did what, who said what in the past. We're always everywhere, but this book just reminds us to be present and to practice gratitude in the present moment. Because when you really think about it, it's really the only moment we can control, ultimately. Am I doing this right? My screen is on the big screen, right? Okay, cool. So let's get into it since we all gonna be creative this year. Oh, I do want to add one more thing too that I noticed with this book. I really feel like this book helped me with my confidence. When we allow ourselves to play and to roam and we dedicate time to do that, and I mean time, like we discipline ourselves to carve out the time, like, yo, every single time at this time, I'm going on a date with myself, and that's that on that. When we keep our word to ourselves and commit and practice self-discipline, I really feel like that helped me personally trust myself a little bit more. Like, okay, you did what you said you was going to do, so now I trust you. And that has everything to do with how we show up for ourselves. So I'm excited to see how we all show up for ourselves in the next 12 weeks. If you can't make every week, it's all good. Come when you can. But no matter what, read the book. Read the book, because this book is a game changer. It's going to have your life just hitting on all different cylinders, like relationships, jobs, everything, because the spirituality and the level of awareness heightens. So let's get it. Okay. Yes. So first things first thing, she talks about the 2 basic tools. Does some people have the physical copy, or are we all doing the digital? Heavy on the accountability, that part. Okay, we got the iPads. All right, cool. All right, yeah, physical, I definitely highly recommend doing the physical book. It's just something about turning a page that just feels sensual. So I would recommend that. But for now, we're going to save our coins and do young digital. Yeah. Okay, so the first 2 things that she talks about in the book, which was really important, are the morning pages, which is pretty much 3 pages of just free write. You just wake up in the morning and just go in, just write about anything. What helps me the most is writing down the things I'm grateful for. Like if I don't write down the things I'm grateful for, I'll go on a tangent, and sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive. But no matter what it is, she says, just jot it down. And I think the best recommendation that I can give to stay committed to the morning pages is doing it first thing in the morning. It's like you wake up, morning pages. Like I would not check the phone. And that's also important as well. Having a morning routine, run it back, a morning routine that feels like love, that allows you to tap into mind, body, soul. Like, am I meditating in the morning? Am I taking out time to take care of myself in the morning? Am I stretching? How am I moving my body? Am I drinking lemon water? The one I just dropped. Am I doing things like that? Like, how am I nourishing mind, body, soul? How am I checking back in? And another thing is with the morning pages, it allows you to flush out a lot of the ways that you feel and give yourself enough time. The time you give yourself before you give it to anyone else, before you give it to social media, before you give it to your job, before you give it to your family, anything. Like, it's allowing you to give yourself some time to just get in your bag, and whatever that looks like to you. Like, are you setting your intentions? Do you already know what you're going to do today, what you're going to eat today, like how your day is going to live? Because how we start our day is high key how we start our life, for real. Like, it's a part of the habit. It's a part of everything we do every day. If you don't have a morning routine, do the little things, like wake up a little earlier, stretch, journal. It's so, so important. I highly recommend. It really sets the tone for your life. When I don't do my morning routine, I'm so aggravated. Like, the smallest things will tick me off. Like, things that wouldn't have ticked me off before definitely start to tick me off. So, yes. Another thing is just the way that we take a shower every day. We just should be trying our best to journal every single day, no matter what. Okay, so another thing that she brings up. Wait, does anybody journal already? Does anybody already journal?
No, that's just hard.
Yeah, it is. What's hard about it though?
I don't know. Like, I always buy notebooks. I'm like, oh, this is cute. I'm gonna journal, and then I just leave it there. Like, but the morning pages kind of sparked it. I like it.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too, because I watch a lot of Julia Cameron's interviews. She was saying how, like, doctors, lawyers, gymnasts, like people who do Olympics, everybody, when they read her book and they do the morning pages, it helped them be more creative in their craft, like immediately. Like, you just begin to, I imagine it like we unlocking a door, and that door like opens up us into a new portal type shit. And I think that those are the grounding type of exercises that we need to do to tap back in the spirit, tap back into our thoughts and how we really feel. So if you're not journaling, I would say try to like at least carve out 15 minutes to do journal. Or try to do like something. Before I started journaling, I started recording myself speaking and stuff like that. We need to record some sort of memory with how we feel. So 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, 6 months, we check back in, and you start to notice a lot of your thoughts change, your speech changes, your friends, your circles, your relationships begin to change. And it's important to take note of that, because if we just keep moving on, like we kept moving on during the pandemic, like we won't even peak game that so many things happen to us, so many great things happen, because we're not writing it down and we're not making it physical and we're not recording it. So yeah. Yeah, come through.
So the judgment that's like the whole, like, part of the thing about journaling. So like, don't judge yourself for not doing it or not like doing all 3 pages. Just write something. Be like, I don't know what to write. I think this is dumb. Like, that might be your journal on a given day. You know, like, just get started with it, because if it's not something that you do, like 3 pages might seem like out of control, but you know, as you make it a practice, you know, it can, yeah, it's the business basically.
I also feel like I'm like, my therapist always has told me to journal, and as I started doing it, I realized the thing that makes me the most uncomfortable is like facing what I'm thinking. Like, I'll sit here and be like, I'm mad about this dude or whatever, and then I'll start writing, and it's not about him. It's never about him. And so I feel like the more I force myself to journal, the more I can control what I'm actually thinking and how I can productively solve my issues instead of just like being annoyed in my head.
Yeah, and there's no rules to journaling. There's no rules. Like, we don't have to look for journal prompts online or on Pinterest. We just write. The first thing that comes to your mind, damn, I ain't brushed my teeth yet. I write about everything. Wow, I'm so glad I'm able to see today. Damn, it sucks that I need my glasses. I get in a weird bag, and I write everything. I write down everything, because it just, and then when you look back on it, it's just like, oh wow, I was thinking that. It's cool. It's funny, and I gotta take my phone off this. Anyways, yeah, it's cool. It's funny, and it's whatever's in your head, like whatever. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. Y'all are so funny. Yeah.
I think writing helps to tap into the subconscious, and I think it helps for manifestation. I definitely do it when I want to manifest something. I'll write down what I want, and then I'm looking back like months later and saying, hey, I'm successfully manifested it. So I feel like it's really good as a writer to really write down how you feel about something, because it's bigger than what you think it is, and it helps you to really, well, me personally, it helps me to organize my thoughts and how I feel about something. So it really taps into my subconscious, and I'm able to just write down everything, and I feel so much better. So that's what I feel like writing has done for me. Whenever I'm upset about something, I feel so much better when I write it down.
How do you stay consistent with writing things down?
Well, I kind of brought like, I guess I've always been a writer, so I've kind of been writing for a long time, and I kind of just buy, oh man, too bad I don't have it with me, but my journal, I kind of make it personalized to something that I really like. So my friend bought me this book, and it's a journal, and she was like, look, I got this for you, and it says Virgo on the outside, and I was just like, oh, my zodiac, okay. Like, it feel it makes you feel, I'm like, oh, even better, you know, something that I actually really like. Yeah. That I'm like, oh, okay, astrology, plants, oh, I love it. Yeah.
Look, I love the energy that's just going on, because what I've learned with journaling, at first when I started my journey with journaling, I set rules for myself, because I'm a Gemini, so I have that tendency with myself to overthink, to have to set boundaries within myself. I can only journal when I'm happy. I can only journal in the afternoon. But now that I've gotten older and I've had children, journaling is a place where there truly is it's a no judgment zone. When there are days where I know I'm not being the best parent, or I'm not being the best person to myself, or the best partner, my journal is the one place I know will not judge me. So sometimes I go in there, sometimes it's bullets, sometimes I go in there, it's a short story, sometimes I'll go in there and just be like, I really am not feeling it today. So setting that intention and actually doing it in the morning is fantastic. But then I also have days where I go to my journal multiple times. And I'm weird because I have plenty of journals where I like to have one main journal, but then one rule I do give myself is don't use your journal for your thoughts as a place for your grocery list, what you're supposed to be doing around the house, because if you just gonna catch yourself putting your laundry list and your grocery list when it's
Right.
supposed to be your thoughts. So that's the one rule I do give myself. But other than that, just think of your journal as a no judgment zone. Because honey, the pages I've been written in them in these pages and books, no judgment.
I was gonna ask about like the consistency and if there were rules, because I've been journaling but inconsistently. So it would be like if I journal, like if I go back to any of the books I have, it would just be when I'm really depressed and like down and out, and that's when I'm like writing 5, 6, 7 pages. But then when I'm out of that feeling or that funk, then I'm not. And like I also do music, so I rap. Those are two different like things for me. So there's like the journal that's inconsistent, and then there's like the music. So like how do you, I don't know, at least for me, I don't know if anyone else is into music or poetry or anything, but how do you separate the two, or do you combine them?
No, I would definitely make it a little bit separate because it's two different feelings. One is like flushing out your day. Like I like to see my journal as aftercare, you know, like after just like a long day and now you get to wake up and start a new day. It's like, oh, what you about to do with today? How you about to feel? Let's digest. You know, like we don't digest things. Like after this meeting, I'm on a high already. My whole spirit is like, I'm on a high. But after this conversation, I'm going to need to journal and digest it. I'm going to need to break it down because I'm feeling everyone's energy. I'm on a high. Y'all speaking to me. And that's important for us to break things down. And that's what one journal will do. And I think another journal is when you think about all the creative things that you want to do, all the creative things that you're excited to start, and all the creative things that you're doing at the moment. Things like that. I also did want to mention too, I love that you just mentioned journaling when you're angry. I used to do that. So you know when '09 Twitter was '09 Twitter. Whose little thing is that? I don't know who it is. I don't know. Real quick. Noise is so weird. Do you guys hear that? Okay, thank you. So when '09 Twitter was '09 Twitter, I might be telling my age, but so. And I used to be young complain. I used to get on there and complain. I'd be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. This line is wilding. Oh, this complain. But I noticed once I picked up journaling and I was able to flush out a lot of my emotions, I was able to be more intentional with social media. And when I became more intentional with social media, more intentional people started following me and I started following them. And now social media became a pleasant experience versus before it was just like, I noticed when I complain, I followed a lot of complaining people and we were just on the app complaining, going crazy. So I do think this journaling is so important because it sets the tone for being intentional. It sets the tone. The days I don't journal and I just answer my phone or I just check social media or I respond to a client before I tune in with myself, I notice like I'm not even giving them the best response I can give them because I did not tap in and flesh out how I feel and who I want to be today. So it is vibrational. And you know what's crazy? Everything requires energy. Everything requires, I'm starting to really peep game that everything requires energy. This requires energy. Laying down requires energy. Cooking, everything requires energy. Even scrolling on social media, that's taking our energy. I don't even know if it's natural for us to be consistently reading people's thoughts and experiences and opinions. So it's important for us to be intentional with our energy. And journaling is that time where we like cut all the noise. And I'm about to take everything from my mind and put it right on the paper. Yeah. Oh, I love.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Edon. First and foremost, if I introduce myself,
Hi.
I want to go back to what Chrissy was saying, that she was talking about her manifesting in your journal. Okay, so I feel like I don't know. I feel like I see signs and like I have really vivid dreams. I feel like something is going on and I can like manifest, but like when I write it down and I say to myself like I am this, and I don't see it, I'm just like, yo, like how do you believe like what you're writing? If that makes sense. Like for instance, say you want to be like a famous person or something, like I am this person, but surrounded by you, you have like low vibrational people, you have bills due, but your bank account don't match what you're trying to manifest. It's like, how do you believe what you're writing? That's my biggest problem.
I love that question. Does anybody want to respond to that?
I feel like, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You can go ahead.
Okay, I just to add to that, what I was wondering about the manifesting thing too is I've heard so much about writing it really helps, but like how consistent do you have to be? How many times do you have to write it? Like what's the formula, or is it different for everyone? Like what, like she was saying before me, like what is it that kind of makes that happen?
So I think that when it comes down to manifesting certain things, I think it's important for us to do two things. One, think about what and who we want to be, right? For me, I get real specific with it. It gets crazy. Like it's so specific. I think about who I want to be and how does she look? Where does she live? How does she eat? What does she do in her free time? How does she dress? Who are her friends? Who she's in a relationship with? How, is she happy? Does she read? What type of books she read? What type of music she listen to? Because 2 years ago, I was like, I want to get into jazz music, but it was just a theory. I was just like, oh, like I like the way I thought in my head that I like the way people who listen to jazz music looks. I was like, they're peaceful, you know. And then I was just like, okay, I want to be peaceful. I want to be this. But instead of looking at other people and what their version of peaceful was, I just started picking apart what feels good to me. But then getting real specific. I think about the job that I want. How do I want to serve people? How do I want to be of service? How do I want to give? How do I want to receive? What is my love language? You know, because love languages change. You know, the more you love yourself a certain type of way, sometimes love languages change. So loving yourself in your love language too. That's the second part I wanted to get into about manifestation. For me, when I speak my love language, I feel unstoppable. I feel so good, but every day doesn't look the same. Like some days I feel like I do need words, and some days I feel like words fall short. I'll be like, you don't believe that shit. So, and some days I'm in the mirror and I'm going in, and other days I'm like, maybe it's time for me to dress up and go outside. Maybe I need to connect with nature. Maybe I need to call my mom or a good friend. Maybe I need to do a workout. You know, every day looks a little different, but I do think understanding your love language and the way you receive care and tapping into that consistently, and also trying to imagine your future self. How do they receive care? You know, like when I think about I'm like, yo, I wanna make a lot of money. So what do people who make a lot of money do? How do they take care of themselves? Do they wake up late? Do they jump on social media? Do they gossip? Nah, they don't do none of that. So I just try to think about what they do, the habits that they have, and try to align myself with that as much as possible. Anybody else got something to say? I would be, oh, you're talking.
I look busted this week, but
really quickly, what I kept thinking about is Shandon. I think your name is Shandon. To answer your question, for me, how many times do we write it? How many times do we say it? It's kind of like a New Year's resolution. Every time you start to feel yourself going back into that, you know, those thoughts, pull out your paper and say, okay, how did I feel when I was at my strongest? How did I feel when I was, you know, when I loved myself the most? What did I write? How, you know, just that quick reminder. So I don't think that there is a limit. Once a day, 3 times a day, whenever you feel yourself reverting back into those thoughts, you pull out that paper and you're like, no, I really am her. Like, I felt like her this morning. I felt like her last week, and I'm going to get back there, even if I'm having that little moment of, you know, fear or whatever it may be. So however many times it takes for you to kind of retrain your brain to be like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going there. We're looking forward. We're in our new habits, you know?
The best advice I got about manifestation that literally changed my life was one of my friends told me, she was like, people don't realize that you have to act like you're crazy when you're trying to manifest something. So you have to literally believe that you have no proof that this is going to happen to you, but this is your life. And that's how I started changing everything. Like, before it's like a self-doubt thing. Like, you don't think you're good enough, or you don't think you're worth it. But I would just like walk around, like I go to the bodega, I go everywhere and pretend I have my dream job. and then it came to me 3 months later. Like everything I did, I was that person. And every time I had to redirect myself, and I would look in the mirror and be like, who are you and who do you want to be? Because at the end of the day, we all got shit. Like that's the reality. But like, okay, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna win. And I keep telling myself every single day, and like, that's what you gotta do. You gotta act like you're this insane person. There's no proof that this is gonna be your life, but you keep doing it, and it's either gonna work out or it's not.
Yes, I feel like that. And for me, one of my biggest issues was just trusting in like divine timing. That was my biggest like issue. Like I will be like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. It's like if I say, oh, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be rich, but I'm behind on bills and I'll get down and out. But what I realized, like just looking back at how I manifested before, those times when I'm like down the lowest, those are times that you really gotta, when you're down at the most, that's when you really gotta thug it out and like keep pushing, because when you're down that low, something good is bound to come out of that. You don't stay down forever. So if you keep pushing through that, what you wanted is gonna start to be on this way for you.
I agree. I was gonna also say,
oh shoot.
okay. I was gonna say what's also like really helpful is like manifesting traits to help you with what you're manifesting, like in general. Like say, you know, you want to be a like big artist, like manifesting, like you can manifest like self-discipline, time management. So I do think like those manifesting traits are like really important.
I love that. I really do love that. I I also think trusting the process. Always trusting it. But that's high key brings me back to the book, because it's like when you tap into yourself, you're trusting yourself. You're trusting that no matter what, this is gonna work out for you. You're trusting yourself like this is the time I'm investing into myself. I trust me. I trust everything that I do. I trust everything that I touch. The second I touch it, the second I do it, it's lit. And that takes practice. Like, I don't feel like the first week we journal, we're all going to be superstars. We're not going to be like, I believe in myself. Like, I don't think we're going to be like that the first week, you know, but this book allows us to unpack. We have different layers. We have different levels of trauma. We have so many, we're complex, you know? So this book, like every single week, you'll start to peep, like, the first week is recovering a sense of safety. Second week is recovering a sense of identity. Third week is recovering a sense of power, a sense of integrity. How powerful is this? Like, this is insane that the work that we're gonna have to do, and I'm gonna be completely honest, sometimes this work is ugly. Sometimes it is hurtful. Sometimes you're just like, damn, that's crazy. That really happened, and I'm really not over that yet. And that's okay. That's totally fine.
That's been so true for me. Like, I feel like she really makes you go into those like horrible, shameful memories in your head that you're holding on to, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go there, but she makes you go there so that you can kind of get to the root of it. And like I wrote in the chat before, but I love how she mentioned that you're going to feel a resistance, because the fact that she called me out on it, I was able to kind of be like, okay, so this is resistance, and kind of push past it. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah. And resistance is us holding on to our normalized and complacent behaviors. You know, it's us justifying it. We're like, nah, this is who I am. This is where my identity lies. I can't let it go. What does change look like? I don't know, therefore I'm not fucking with it. And that is going to come up, but I still think it's important for us to tap back in as to the source. Where does this even stem from? Like, what's going on? Like, how did this even create? Oh yeah, I love that she talks about the shadow work. Okay, so some of the things that I really loved in the first chapter that I wanted to really talk about is on page 26. I don't know whoever, like, I don't know if it's really quick to get there digitally. So I'll wait a second. Yeah, on page 26, the first paragraph. I personally love this sentence because rich is a very important word. So in the first paragraph, third sentence, she was like, pretty much this guy's father bought him bought him a seat on the stock exchange for his 21st birthday. He's been a trader ever since. Now in his mid-30s, he is very rich, you know, because his father bought him some stuff at a young age, and he is very poor. And he is very poor. Money cannot buy him creative fulfillment. And that's so powerful because we need to check back into what being rich feels like. Like, what is being rich? Is it rich in spirit? Is it rich in finance? Is it rich in relationships? Is it rich in blessings? Is it rich in health and wellness? You know, like, what does rich look like to you? And when we get very clear on what rich looks like to us, we're able to, yes, I love that. Somebody said wealthy in spirit. Talk about it. I love the word wealthy. I love the word rich because I don't think it has anything to do with balance. I mean, with money. Someone said rich and balance. That's a word. That's a word. Does anybody have any input on that?
I can't.
Can I say something? I don't know what page it's on, but a little bit after that story with the stock market, there's a sentence I highlighted, and it says, yes, the same age you will be if you don't start, so let's start. So I think like all that stuff with manifestation and the character traits you want to develop, everything that you want to do, like the biggest thing for me is my mental will be like, okay, Teresa, make a side hustle, go stretch, go do yoga, take a shower, wash your hair, whatever. But then my body is just like I just don't move. So I wrote down under that, I was like, I'd rather be healed, flourishing, and go-getting in my 30s, 40s, 50s than just a 30, 40, 50-year-old. So I'd rather just do it because I'd be the same age if I didn't. So what the hell?
That part. I was like, must you drag me? Must you drag me? I'm like, get off of me.
Mm-hmm.
She was being really rude. When she said that, she was being really rude, actually. Like, I was just like, wait, come on, sis. Like,
And it makes you think of the many opportunities that you wanted to pursue and didn't pursue, that even if it's like 10 years ago when we were like teenagers or early 20s, it's like, why didn't I at least try it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't make or break me because I would never know because I never tried it. But back to that, when you talked about defining what rich, abundance, and wealthy means, like when I would say it, I'm like, yeah, I want them racks. I want that to be in my bank account. But that didn't give me the peace of mind that I have now. So rich is the peace of mind that I can define my own schedule. That me personally, I do not work a 9 to 5 because it doesn't work well for me and it doesn't work well for my health, my family. So being that I can wake up and do whatever I want as it relates to my family, as it relates to my business, as it relates to how I show up for myself and not for someone else is extremely wealthy for me that I never had before in my 20s.
I also wanted to add, like, I really felt, oh, hold on just a second, guys.
I love that she's working. I love it. You want to get this in. You want to get this spiritual enlightenment, higher creativity in.
I actually had an input for that. I actually had to redefine what wealthy meant for me. I come from two parents who came from and they had to like work hard and do this and this, that for all 6 of their kids. And so I grew up with the mentality that I had to get money, go to school, this, that, and the third. So money was always the number one thing for me. Actual physical money, not wealthy in health or wealthy in anything. As long as I have the money, everything else will follow. So now I'm trying to reverse my mindset in the way that, no, I get everything first and then money will follow. So I'm kind of backwards, but this book has really trying to undo those layers of this mentality that I've always had since I was young, based on my environment and based on my experience. So I'm slowly trying to change what wealthy means to me.
Yeah, I think that journaling is really important when it comes down to unlearning some of our thoughts and our behaviors and our habits. the journaling allows us to check back in and just understand where they come from and how to be productive with those type of feelings. Does anybody?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you
Oh my
back,
God,
honey?
work. Yeah, but growing up, my name is Lyric. But growing up, my dad raised me to be a musical person. That's what he preyed on and stuff. And honestly, it came true. I live by my name. But growing up as a kid, I was always constantly getting told, like, oh, why do you sing so much? You know, music isn't that great. It's not everything. That's not it's not going to make your life. You're not going to really get anything out of, you know, making that into a career, you know, whatever I wanted to pursue as a child when it came to music. But I still kind of stuck with it until high school. But when I got into high school, I was the only Black singer in my choir. And at first it felt good because I was in the top choir and everything, but I never got anything. I never got solos that I tried out for, even if it was gospel African American music. I never got it. And by the time I graduated, I lost the passion for music because I was always getting told what I couldn't do, and I believed it. And instead of looking for guidance from somebody who maybe I could have a better connection with, maybe if they were African American or had, I don't know what really to say next, but I just feel like if I never would have just put so much thought into what everybody was saying around me and just did me and got, you know, the guidance somewhere else, I would have still been doing what I wanted to do. And when you guys were talking about like the whole manifestation thing, I just feel like when I wasn't manifesting, sorry, you know, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm like really bad with my words.
No, I actually think you're pretty great with your words. I actually think that I understood everything you said, and I really resonate with you. And I think you're doing well. So if you don't,
Okay.
I understand, but I do think that we all understand you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, with my father, he was the only person who always encouraged me, you know, to sing and practice and, you know, be more in tune to the music that I did grow up listening to, which was like R&B and soul and stuff. But when I went to school and was around, you know, like people who wasn't in the same culture as I, it's like I got distracted and was trying to be somebody else that I wasn't. And then I just realized that that's where the loss of passion came from. And now with not being in school and being around my culture a little bit more, I've started to feel a little bit more happy about myself. I've been singing more, and I met somebody who is my boyfriend, and he's an artist, and he draws really good, but he was always trying to like encourage me to, you know, sing, because when he met me, I was singing, you know, but when I stopped, he was just like, why don't you sing? And I was just like, I really don't know, but I did know the answer. But instead of him always just like, you know, nudging me and saying stuff, he showed me how to open up by doing his art. Like just watching him draw and seeing him actually take care of himself made me want to do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I really, really love that you said that. I'm a big believer in like what we water grows. So if those type of words like, oh, like people are saying, oh, you're not gonna do it, or you can't do it, or things like that, that grows, you know. And then when you are around people who are nurturing you and who are watering you, that grows. And literally in the next page of the book, on page 27, she brings that up. She was just like, oh, how like parents are like, art won't pay the electric bill as a result if the child is encouraged to consider art in terms of a job, right? But then later goes to say like artists love other artists. Shadow artists are gravitating to their rightful tribe. You, me, and your boyfriend, rightful tribe, intention, alignment, abundance for you to grow. And I think that that's also important. When we step into our creative journey and our hobbies, finding our tribe. For me, I really want to learn two things. I want to learn photography, and I want to learn, I used to be in a band, so I want to go back to playing the saxophone. And I found a few groups that's playing in New York City and stuff like that. And I just got so excited because now I'm going to find my tribe. The second I save up enough money to get the saxophone, I'm going to find my tribe. I'm going to be talking to them. I just get on a high thinking about it because we need to be around like-minded energy. You know, we all vibrate on a certain frequency. So even if you have friends that aren't into jazz or aren't into what you're into, they're still like, are they going after their creative passions? Are they talking about the things that bring them joy? Like things like that. Like it's so important for us to be around other artists. And she talks about that because she's like, we get exposed to the dream of the light, fearful that, wait, I'm sorry, I'm messing up that part. She says, shadow artists are gravitating to their rightful tribe, but cannot yet claim their birthright. Very often audacity, not talent, makes a person an artist. First off, just real quick, I just wrote this on Twitter as well. We need to start having the audacity. We need to start having the audacity. In what areas in our life do we need more audacity? Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Where do we need the audacity? You know, like, where do we fumble? You know, where do we fold? In those areas, in those pockets, we need to start having the audacity.
I think that one of the greatest things you can do is have the audacity to be yourself when everyone in the world is telling you that you should be one thing and another thing. Like, just have the audacity to be your authentic self.
I wanted to add something real quick, kind of piggybacking off what you said, and Idan too. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But I also grew up with a mother who loves me unconditionally, put a lot of emphasis on success measured monetarily, and kind of cultivated this career for me of, going to the science, become an engineer. I did. The whole time I was an artist, really suppressed that. Recently, this book touched me. Recently made the decision that I'm going to leave that career and pursue artistry full time. And to talk about kind of what you were saying about your tribe, my parents, especially my father, has always been so supportive of me. And sometimes people can't see what you see. And when I told him, you know, that I was going to do this, my voice is getting a little shaky. He broke my heart, and he told me, you know, like, there's a thing as a starving artist. He quickly followed with, I'll support you, and I will support whatever, you know, you believe in. But people aren't always going to be on the same page, even the people that love you the most and that you love the most. So you do have to have the audacity, and like, it's hard. I still question myself all the time. I'm not there yet, but I will be. And whether that's difficult today or yesterday or tomorrow, it is sort of like this crazy thought of just believing that you're going to be there.
Kim, and say, piggybacking off of what you were talking about.
Oh, you muted yourself.
I'm sorry. I wanted to go back and say, with what you're talking about having the audacity, I think for me, a big reason why I kind of stopped pursuing music, or, you know, the things that I enjoyed, I felt like I was talented at, just because, like, I felt like I didn't deserve to be in those spaces, or like not wanting to take up too much space. Um, and I don't know if anyone listens to Blood Orange, but their album, like Negro Swan, Janet Mock talks about just how important it is to take up space and be unapologetic about taking up that space.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to chime in really quickly and say, Kim, I hope you come back every single week. There are starving artists, but there are so many well-fed artists, and it is totally possible. We're here to help feed you and feed you in other ways. Like, obviously money is super important, but when we move from a space of like a well-nourished space in spirit and mental health and emotional health and physical health, good things are going to happen. Good things will come to us. The money does flow. It does flow. And you don't want to have a job that is giving you money, but it's expensive on spirit. You know?
Kim, I had a question for you. How do you find that you choose yourself every day, especially since you made such a big decision? Because I feel like I'm in that same position where there's so many like odds stacked against me, but I want to fulfill this passion of mine. Yet I feel like there's so many obstacles, and I'm just curious to know, how do you choose that you want to be an artist? How do you choose that you want to continue choosing all of those things for yourself, manifesting or envisioning your future?
Thank you for asking. Like Ariel said, I think after a certain point, I realized that the job I'm in now is okay, and it pays the bills, and I could live a good life. I could go out to dinner, I could take vacations and not worry about, those bills, because they'll get paid. But it's just taking my time, and I did not allow myself to be the artist I could be. And actually in the pandemic, I made this decision right before the pandemic. I sat my parents down and I said, this is what I'm gonna do, in like February. And the pandemic came, and that was even scarier because everybody was, struggling. So now I've got this crazy dream about like giving up my work. But since then, I just really thought about what I wanted to prioritize, and it's my happiness, my abundance, what's going to make me tick. Because I'm so fortunate that I come from a place that I don't think I'll ever be really, really, really struggling. Maybe there will be times where it'll get really difficult. There's been hurdles. I've gotten depressed sometimes. I get a lot of anxiety. I've gained some weight. But through that, I have to remind myself, and I have to, I think it was mentioned before, carving out time for ourselves. I make myself carve out the time every day. So it's not easy. I'm really not fully there, but I will do it. I will do it because I don't have another choice. That's what I've told myself.
It's a non-negotiable. Showing up for myself, non-negotiable. Morning pages, non-negotiable. Even if it's a page or a paragraph, non-negotiable. And the artist day, like non-negotiable. Oh, so what an artist day is, I know there's probably a few other people that want to speak. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. The artist date is pretty much carving out the time to take yourself out on a date. Like Julia Cameron talks about going to the dollar store and buying like different arts and crafts and creating something with yourself and just playing around with different arts and crafts. I think an artist date looks like anything you want it to look like. The other day I had an artist date in Target, which was expensive, so I don't know if I would recommend that. But there's artist dates everywhere. Like sometimes I'll have an artist date right inside my crib, and I'll create a vision board just by myself. And to get the magazines, I walked into like nail salons and I was just like, hey, are y'all gonna use these magazines or are you gonna throw it out? And then when they about to throw it out, I'm like, let me get all your old issues. And then I just like that. So you can do that, like your local nail shops, just ask for multiple magazines and get that. But yes, artist dates can be anything, but it's you carving out intentional time away from your phone and away from everyone. It's just you and whatever you're doing. And that's it. Sometimes I have an artist day with my food. I'll try a new recipe. I'm like, let me try this new recipe. And it's just me and the food. It's me massaging it. It's me cleaning it, looking at it cook, just like thinking to myself, oh, what you feel like doing today? And then when I'm eating it, it's just me and the meal. It's real intimate. Like no one is getting in between us. Not no phone, not no conversation, no one. So I do think having artist days along with the morning pages are a game changer. And what is most helpful is setting your artist date on the same time, same day. Like I know every week is different, but when you set it at the same time and the same day, you look forward to it. You already know, like, I'm busy. I'm busy. I can't even, I can't even, I gotta go. Like, because you already know what you have to do. So super, super important. Oh, we could chat. Does anybody want to say anything?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, so on the days that you don't really know what to write, or I kind of find myself becoming like, when I don't know what to write, becoming a little repetitive with my gratitude in the morning. Like I'm thankful I woke up today. I'm thankful for coffee. On those days when I kind of feel like this is getting boring or I don't know what to write, what are some ideas, or because I'm getting kind of new to the gratitude journal, what are some ideas to help me get my mind going in the morning?
I want to interject that, like, yes, gratitude and your journaling is anything that's in your mind. So, like, even if it's not, I'm grateful for coffee or I'm grateful I woke up, it could be like, some bullshit popped off yesterday. You know, it could, like, anything that you wake up with on your mind or in your heart, that can be those can be the things that you journal about. Anything that comes up for you. And then somebody saying in the chat, talking about journal prompts as well. Like if you have absolutely no idea what to write, you know, using prompts as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of prompts, I'm taking like little notes, and the email that I sent you guys, and like if you don't have the email or you're not signed up, definitely sign up. I'm going to send out like little journal prompts as well, like just for us to, like, so we're not so lost when we're writing, and it's just going to be a reflection. A lot of the questions and the prompts are going to be a reflection of some of the talking points that we brought up during this session, because I love this type of stuff. I'm getting my life right now. Oh, I know I'm supposed to end at 8 o'clock, but we're going to keep going.
I have another thing to respond to Alyssa's question regarding journal, like the morning pages. Like she said in the book as well, like it doesn't have to make sense. Like you can just say like, oh, you can literally write, I don't even feel like writing right now, but this, that, and the third, or yesterday was boring for me, yesterday was exciting for me. Oh, I think it doesn't have to like be a cohesive type of thing. It could literally, like she said, be like a mind dump. It's such a way, a practice to let everything that's in your mind be on paper, so it won't be sitting in your mind all day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think it's just kind of letting go of the perfectionist mindset. And it's like we always have thoughts in our head anyways. Like throughout the day, you're always having something in your head. It's not any point of the day where your mind's just blank, unless you're meditating or something. But it's just literally just getting that all out so you can start your day kind of like with a fresh mind. That's what I do personally.
I was gonna say also, I think how she talks about, you know, when like you're writing, like giving yourself these positive affirmations, and then those negative thoughts that come into your head, like immediately addressing those. I think for me that really like allowed me to go and like get deeper with my affirmations. And you know, she talks about, you know, like saying, you know, I, and then your name, am, and then challenging those negative blurbs that come into your head after you tell yourself like a positive affirmation. So even if like you know, write a positive affirmation and you like tell yourself like, this is like dumb, this is pointless, this isn't like, you can challenge that and write that down, and know, like, you know, what you're doing is intentional and it's not dumb or stupid or anything.
Can I add to that too? I feel like whenever I do positive affirmations and I feel like they're dumb or like they're not going to like manifest in the way that I'm looking for them to manifest, I also try to add something like I know is going to happen in my day. Like I'm going to drink a glass of water today or something, because I know that's going to happen, and that makes it kind of more true for me. So it's like this other thing can be true because I know I'm going to drink water today. I don't know if that like makes sense, but I heard it somewhere. And I started doing it. It really helped me kind of like be more aware of the fact that positive affirmations can really work for me, and they will come true and be something that manifests in my life.
I really like that.
I love that as well. I love that because I struggle with affirmations often. I'm just like, is that true? I don't know. You know, like sometimes I'm just not in the mood, you know. But so I think like associating with what's real helps me manifest and like make everything real. There's another part of the book where on page 30, where she asks is, if I am fully creative, it's like right before she talks about the core negative beliefs and creating positive creative affirmation. She says, if I am fully creative, what will it mean? And that's an important question to navigate through as well. Like, what does it look like if I am creative? What does it look like if I am my dream self? What does that really look like? How will I feel? Sometimes we think like, oh, when I get this amount of money, I'm gonna feel so good. Oh, when I move out, I'm gonna feel good. When I get this car, I'm gonna feel good. When I meet the perfect person, I'm gonna feel good. But will you? You know, like, and just really thinking about that, like, what does feeling good look like? Does it look like waking up with happiness? Does it look like, are you a person that works out often? How do you eat? Like, what does it look like exactly? Like, when I am creative, when I am successful, and when I move to a space of abundance, what will I feel like? And just kind of like getting real in tune with that. What do you guys think about that?
I actually, oh, you want to go? So that part of the book was like probably so crazy for me because I realized that like one of my biggest fears is that everything's gonna work out. Like I feel like I'm so used to suffering and trauma and pain that like I couldn't even imagine everything working out. Like all of my fears are triggered by the fact that I feel like I don't deserve like a successful life. And so like I don't know, I just remember that part of the book so heavily and was like, wow, like I'm really scared of having everything that I've wanted as a child.
That's real. That's real. And she talks about limiting beliefs. That's real.
And I also think that's a big part, because no one ever really talks about like fear of success. They always talk about like fear of failure. So I think that's, for me, that's one of the biggest things, is that sometimes I stop my inner child from playing because I'm like, I'm an adult. I have to do the right thing. I have to do it like this. I have to do it like that. So I think just letting your inner child play and just be creative, it's like super endless. And also about, I think it all boils down to knowing yourself. So when you know yourself, you'll attract the right tribe, the right job, the right career, everything will just come to you. And I think that is the biggest thing. It's like as adults, we tend to just focus on here, right now, bills, this, that. So letting your inner child play, come out, whatever you love to do, just letting that flourish is like a blessing. And no one can take it away from you, only yourself.
I love that. You just spoke a word. Like that really hit home for me. Yeah, that really, really hit home for me. So I will be wrapping up at 8:30. And I low-key feel like they probably should go from like 7 to 8:30. Guys, I really hope I see you next week. I think that us holding each other accountable and showing up like this is so important because it's just week 1 and I'm excited to see week 3, week 4, like what we did, you know, what was our artist day? Does anybody already kind of have an idea of what their artist date is going to be this week or?
Something
Yeah.
that I used to do. Oh, sorry.
Right, you can go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say something that I used to do that I kind of want to get back into. Well, because I'm the type of person that I'm always like doing things for everybody else, always making sure everybody else is good. But then when it comes to me, I don't ever treat myself because I feel like I just put myself on the back burner, and I feel like a lot of us do that as women. But one thing I used to do that I'm gonna start doing again is I used to go buy myself flowers every week. And it just like, I feel like it brightened up my space. And to me, my space is really important. So by it brightening up my space, it just really had a positive effect on my everyday.
Yeah.
Yes, the key. Flowers are everything. Just had to capitalize on that. It's all about self-care, I think, with artist dates. I just want to tap in. My thing is more of a vision board. I started doing my vision board, so this is like right on time reading this chapter because I was like, see, I started my artist date and then I kind of slacked off on it. And I got half the stuff cut out here on my dining room table, but this is the key to, it's like the reminder to finish it, what I started, right? But my spirit has been telling me to tap in and get my 2021 vision board right. So that's for me. But I'm real big on bubble baths every Sunday, things like that. I feel like even though it's not necessarily artists, it's just that time to myself, that time to ourselves where we're just replenishing our spirit and our soul and doing what we want to do. It's important for us, whether it's artists, creativity driven or not, just having some alone time so we can learn ourselves. It's super essential for our overall well-being, I feel like.
I think our bodies will consider a bath like art. I really do. I think our bodies will be like, ooh, there's some nice art. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
Hi guys. Can I go? I'll be quick. I just have a question. Hi guys, how are you guys doing? So I have a question specifically about this artist day because I have options, okay? There are so many things I could get into if I want to be creative, but I find that as a recovering perfectionist, it is very different. It's very difficult, to do something and for it not to turn into work. It is something I deal with. It is something that my boyfriend sees me deal with. I don't know how to just draw and just be drawing and just draw and just be happy and just have fun. I don't know how to write without it becoming a thing. I don't know how to just enjoy myself. And I don't know if anybody understands what I'm talking about. So please, if you do, help me. How do you do that? How do you prevent yourself from turning everything into work? Yeah, that's my question.
Great question. I think this artist date is perfect for you. Right?
I'm sorry, you can go.
I'm sorry, no, you go, my bad.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say, like, I completely understand exactly what you're saying because I myself am a perfectionist, like, to a T. Honestly, the daily affirmations and just writing down things in regards to I am capable, I am a great blank, whatever your artistry is, that definitely has helped me a lot. And the other day I was actually speaking to one of my friends and she said, like, Olivia, have you been writing lately? And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on a project right now, but I feel like it's not good enough. And she was like, make it your everything. And when she said that to me, it wasn't really like make it your everything in a way that it would consume me, but more so like give myself the freedom to really indulge in it. So like whatever it is where you choose to, have your artist day, just let yourself kind of be, like, kind of put yourself in a space of, like I like to play music, like I put a playlist on when I'm writing or painting or whatever it is, and so see if that really just get yourself in your element. That's what helps me a lot.
Yeah, and to add to that, because myself, I'm not like a super perfectionist, but like I could be picky. But I feel like when you're a perfectionist, you have the mindset of what can I do to make it better? What's wrong with it? Why don't you like take a step back and, for instance, if you want to draw, why don't you say things you like about your drawing instead of looking for the mistakes, why don't you look for something that you enjoy? Like, oh, I like the way I shaded this. I like the way like this color corresponds with this color. Change your mindset to finding the things that you like about what you're doing, instead of things you think that is wrong and you have to fix it.
Yeah, and like in the book also, she brings up a lot of examples of the way we kind of associate certain things with our art. Like I had a in English 101, I had a professor tell me that they basically asked me what was this? Like, why did I even bother turning it in? And after that, like, it was super hard for me to even like want to do my assignments. Like that discouraged me a lot. But like stepping outside of that, I don't associate my writing or anything like that with that one professor type of thing. So what I'm trying to say is like, our perfectionist mindset is kind of learned, whether that's through society or like any type of standard that we see in our day-to-day life, whether that's from our parents or our jobs, anything like that. So it's like when you are stepping into that space to give yourself space, like just let yourself be, really.
Yeah, so the book also mentions giving yourself permission to be a beginner. You know, and all chapter 1 just really talks about like progress over perfection. That's what the essential, like being safe and noticing the gems, noticing like the silver lining and things like that. But I think when it comes down, aside from being a perfectionist, like what can help you from stop not turning your play into work is just reminding yourself that this is playtime and treating yourself like a child. Like we are adults all the time. We're adults all the fucking time. Like the artist day is the time to be a child. It is the time to get immature with it. Like sometimes I'll have an artist day where I'll just carve out 45 minutes just to dance, looking stupid some days. And some days I'm looking like I know what I'm doing. So I do think that it's important for us to be playful, period. And just think like, would I put my 9-year-old self to work right now? Would I put a 9-year-old, like make them make money off of this right this second? Like, no. And no, I would not. I would not do that. I would not. Let me remind myself that this is my time to be a child again. This is my time to be joyful and playful and just as immature as I want to be. So I think that might help you kind of transition from turning it into work and like feeling so focused like it has to be right, and just like, if it's right, it's right. If it's not, it's not. And just learning how to release that and surrendering to what it is, what the project is. Like, and that's another thing too. We're not getting paid to do this artist day. You know, there's no one at the line like, you got to do that. So just being reminded that, yo, this is play. Like, and everything from there could kind of like go a little bit easier and it'll help you move with a little bit more ease.
Can I add on to that as well?
Yeah.
For myself, in terms of being a perfectionist, I have been working on that for so long. And especially when I first published my first book of poetry, I kid you not, I was submitting edits to the editor. Like, no, I don't like this. I don't want it like this. Switch the period, change the word, change this. Just playing around with my artistry and my talent and my craft, and realizing later on down the line that perfection was holding me back. Trying to get to this place of what perfection is or looks like in my mind was holding me back from growing at all. Like, how can you play around and be playful with this if you already have this idea of what it's supposed to be? How can you experiment when you've already been given the recipe and you think that the recipe is what it's supposed to be? How do you know to add a little bit more lemon or add a little bit more of this or add a little bit more of that if you're sitting here saying this is what it's supposed to look like? And I know for myself, when I was striving for perfection, I had nowhere to go. I was literally being the only person who limited myself, because other people would read my work and be like, wow, this is amazing. It really spoke to me. But I'm sitting here like, it didn't speak to me. But it's not about me at that point, at that moment, because I was the vessel and now it was overflowing to other people. And instead of looking at myself as if I couldn't contain whatever I had, I was thus limiting what I could be giving to other people. And that for me it really helped my writing going forward. Like now I just jot down any and everything, even if it doesn't make sense to me, because what blew my mind is looking back at the work that I did back in like high school and being like, ooh, I wrote this. This sounds good right here. Being like, oh, I drew this? Yo, this is fire. And then being like, why did I doubt myself in that present moment? But now I'm looking back at that work and it's incredible. Like, I'm using myself as a reference. Like, I'm going back to my past work being like, that was fuego. Like, that's what it was. So there's always room to grow, and to think that to think at that moment there is no growth, it's really limiting. And I know that was something I definitely had to work on. And then one other thing, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, but in terms of conceptualizing what my dream self look like, this is something that's been like burning up inside of me recently, because one of my New Year's affirmations was to release fear, because fear no longer serves me and fear has no purpose in my life. And the one thing that I'm starting to realize that my dream self looks like, my dream self has the audacity to have no fear. My dream self has the audacity to leave situations that don't serve me. My dream self has the audacity to get to the money. If you're not paying me what I'm worth, I'm sorry, but I have the audacity to leave. My dream self speaks up in any situation, in the job, my family, my friends, to myself. Self, you doubting me? Okay, self, let's have a conversation. And I think that my dream self is gonna have to have the audacity. And it's like, thinking about it now, ooh, I'm nervous. Even speaking right now, I'm a whole Scorpio. We're not supposed to have our cameras on. But I turned my camera on, got me a little lip gloss from the beauty supply store, and I was like, I'm gonna have the audacity. And thank you for letting me talk. I am done for the moment, and thank you.
Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. She just took our edges. Let's go to bed. It's over now, guys. We can log out of Zoom.
We good. We good. No, we good. Yo, I'm in my seat like the audacity. The lip gloss. The audacity. Yo, we're leaving this. No lie, with the audacity. It's always the audacity for me. I love that. Can you please link your book? You went crazy just now.
Let me, it's somewhere. Honestly.
You went crazy just now. Like, I just got my whole life. And also too, in the book, there's a whole section on creative affirmations, and she talks about that. She talks about that. She says, my creativity, it's on page 36. She says, like, my creativity, in one of the creative affirmations, she was like, my creativity heals myself and others, and my creativity always leads me to the truth. But if we're being honest, I really think we should just add that my creativity makes me audacious. My creativity gives me the audacity. Like, that's what I think we need to be adding to this book right here. It's just the audacity. And I wanted to add one quick tidbit. I feel like when it comes down to perfection, maybe we need to shift our idea of perfection and just the definition of it, because it ultimately is subjective. Perfection, like you said, when you went back to your old drafts, the work you did in the past, like, what if that was perfection? You know, like, who is the deemed person and the authority figure to determine what's perfection and what's not? Who? Who gonna check me? And that's what I mean by having the audacity, because it's like, my perfection is perfection. Like, what I just did was perfect. And can it be more perfect? We'll see. But regardless, this is fine just the way it is. And just like revisiting what perfection even means to us.
Can I add something to that too? Like, I always try to approach anything that I create as something that will be finished when I say that it's finished. And if I change my mind 2 years from now on that project, then I'm going to go back and add something to it if I feel like it. But if not, then it's done. And when it's done, it's perfect. When I feel it's done, it's perfect.
Yeah, I love that. Recently, I was writing a grant and I was so stressed out about it. It's a farming grant, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. And, my mom was talking to me, and she was telling me, you know what? You wrote your first grant. You should actually be proud of yourself. And I was like, that's right. I forgot to be proud. So I feel like sometimes it's really important to remember to actually be proud that you did something. You took a step, you know, towards what you wanted to do or where you wanted to be. And I feel like a lot of times we forget that, hey, I wasn't in this space this time last year. And now when I look back, I'm a completely different person. I'm my higher self. I'm speaking and existing in my truth. And I feel like oftentimes we forget to remember to be proud of the accomplishments and everything that we have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So are we starting the morning pages tomorrow, or did we already start them?
Tomorrow.
I started today, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to reread it or not, because I was really tempted to reread it like later in the day, but I remember she wrote something about not rereading them until the end.
Hi, Reem.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
So happy to see you. Yes, I'm starting my morning pages tomorrow as well. I journal anyway, but I'm starting my morning pages tomorrow. I want to keep this. So, how can we stay connected? How can we follow each other?
I feel like we need to take this to Clubhouse. Let me stop. But for real, this is a great topic. So this will be a good room topic for anybody on there. Seriously, if anybody's on there, this is a great Clubhouse topic. So I would totally be in there.
It really is. We should do one and name it "My Creativity Has the Audacity." I'm definitely gonna name that out. The email that I'm gonna send out. That's gonna be the title of the subject for sure. Oh, we should
do the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I think we should make a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Definitely for that.
Yeah, and when we
We're to throw our affirmations out. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think aside from affirmations, because sometimes I could get flooded, like affirmations would be dope, and like us showing each other pictures of our artist date. I think that would be so cute.
That would be so cute.
I agree with that.
It's happening.
It's happening. Figure it out somehow. Send me something. How do we figure that out? Someone has to know how to do that, right? There's a lot of people on here.
Yeah,
it's 2021. We got this.
Is it too much for people to just be on Twitter and make a group chat?
Okay, so I started this maybe like 7 or 8 months ago, like a long time. I started it off on Twitter, and I had like a group chat, and it was going really well for like 2 or 3 weeks. It was really hard for everyone to stay consistent. It was really hard for us to like just like, you know, be on top of it, and it was just a flooded of messages. I just think these visual sessions are important, as well as like us being in a WhatsApp. But I don't mind a Twitter group as well, but that might be a lot. Okay, so a few takeaways, right? Wait, does anybody else have anything they want to add? This was so special to me. My heart is extremely full. Like this is a bag. So thank you guys so much. I just want to reiterate that as much as possible. Thank you. I'm creating a link right now, but if anybody wants to add anything that they thought stuck out in the book, or any creative affirmations that they read that they was like, damn, I need to practice that, like, this is the time to drop all the gems or anything you felt like spoke to you the most in the book.
I wanted to add I feel like joining this group, reading the book, was the step forward, especially like in the category of manifesting, because it's a step forward of like just trying to at least become somebody better for yourself, you know. So yeah, I think this was such a great idea. I love it.
Thank you so much, Lyric. I don't know if you saw, because you were talking and dropping gems earlier, but the entire chat was going crazy. Like, oh, drop the Lyric. Oh, sing. Keep going. Keep going. Like, everyone was going in on you. Like, it was cheering you on. So
yeah, I definitely feel the love, and it's like I don't even know you guys, but it's hard finding people in the city that I live in, and with me being so young, it's a crazy world. But I'm just so glad that I got to meet you guys and hear all your guys' stories and your point of views of how you guys think. It's definitely gonna have me journaling.
I did say one thing. I do remember somebody had said it was a little difficult to start journaling, and I feel like it's a little difficult for me to journal too. Something that's really helped me is just, I think somebody mentioned this earlier, but being creative with your journal. Like I have my journal here, and it just like has like all these stickers on it, so it gets me excited to just like pull it out and just look at it. It's like, okay, this is all of the things that have caught my eye and that I really love. So if you get creative with your journal, it may help you out in that area as well.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Ariel, for having this. This is amazing. But I think one takeaway that I found while doing this was when you were talking about the audacity, it also reminded me to add to my affirmations that I also don't need to explain myself, because I also have the common habit of maybe not the confidence, but trying to make up for it by over explaining myself or making up for what I think I'm lacking. So I appreciate you just helping me reflect on that and realizing that that is something I do. So just to say what it is and believe that versus explaining it to someone else, and I don't need to.
I just wanted to add about saying affirmations to ourselves. One thing I've learned over the weeks that I've started to see affirmations to myself is to close my eyes and say it and watch how it moves through my body. Like I can hear or I feel my words for myself. And when you feel the resistance, when you feel a spot in your body that's resisting, I breathe through it and say it again. And I watch as my words take hold of my body and just spread around. And I feel like it makes me settled and rooted in what I'm saying about myself. And it makes me feel it and it makes me believe that I am what I'm saying. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, visualization is very, very important. It is so powerful. I dropped the link to the WhatsApp. I'm gonna keep dropping it. Guys, let's all add it to the group chat before we head out. Oh yes, I see. Okay, great. You guys are coming through. All right. I'm also gonna add that to the email. It's everyone also here. We're all getting the emails, right? Oh, if you are on Clubhouse too, we could talk on Clubhouse. But guys, yes, thank you so much. I got my entire life. Some takeaways and wrap up conversations is taking your time, trusting your journey, making sure that you're being present, making sure you're being present, recircling back to the fear of success, reminding yourself to play and not work, redefining what rich looks like to you. Like, are you rich in spirit? Are you rich in opportunities, rich in blessings, rich in love, rich in peace? I love that earlier someone said rich in peace, someone said rich in balance. And what does that look like? Noticing where your resistance is coming up from. And just remembering that we need to be a lot more joyful. And what helps me with being a lot more joyful is think about the things that made me smile when I was a child. And growing up, I double dutch, hopscotch, like I was outside all the time, manhunt, things like that. And I try to just incorporate that into my life as much as possible. I have a jump rope, or I'll just do something silly. Like I think I'm Aaliyah when the camera's off. So that's why I started with her music. So it's just things like that that's really important to get reminded as to why we're like to who we were as a child and what that looks like. No responsibilities, just time to like play and be joyful.
Hi, I did have one quote I wanted to share that stood out to me in the book.
Come through.
It was leap and the net will appear. So it's just like jump for your goals and just have faith in your journey, and your support systems will come. And this is going to be a good support system for me. So I just want to thank all of you for your input.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, I love that. Leap and it will appear. That's a fact. There's been so many times that I leaped and it just appeared. Like, even when it came down to this apartment, I had no idea how I was gonna move out on my own. I was like, I'm gonna live in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's so expensive. How am I gonna come up with the rent? And I'm not even being dramatic. The second I stepped into it, I really feel like God and the universe and all the work I've been putting in just was like, thank you for stepping into who you were supposed to be. Thank you. Like, and this is what you get for that. And now I'm like, oh my God, I got coming up with the money. That's crazy. So I do think when we move in alignment with who we're supposed to be, it is rewarding to the universe. They're like, thank you for showing up because I've been waiting. And we have to remember that we have to have the audacity to show up. So yes, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this up. It's time for me to have the
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing before we leave? Hey, everybody. I came in like a little late. I'm in Chicago. I'm a truck driver, and I had an accident tonight, but I was so looking forward to this meeting. So I'm just like going through all that, coming home. But I just want to say, like, I'm on a journey to healing my inner child. I started this book like maybe last year with my boyfriend, but I kind of like fell off. So I'm like super excited to get back in, like the morning pages. I love the morning pages, but I fell off. So I'm super excited to start again tomorrow. And I just want to say thank you for this community. Thank you for doing this. And I look forward to seeing you guys and hearing everybody next week.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're safe. I really am. And yeah, I'm really glad you're safe. On days that we cannot do the morning pages, it's okay, but just try to focus on doing at least a paragraph or doing it the next day no matter what, like first thing in the morning. Like, I just try to my best to just wake up. Sometimes I brush my teeth, sometimes I just journal first. Whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that, and I'm really glad that you're safe.
I'm sorry, I know you have to go, but I have one thing. Did she drop the name of her poetry book by chance?
I did not, because I actually don't have a link, but since we're in a whole panorama, I can mail them out. If you want to DM me on, what's the thing called? Twitter. I can mail them to you.
Okay, what's your Twitter?
Okay, let me type it, because I made this thing when I was listening to Ellie Goulding. I had no business in listening to Ellie Goulding, but Starry-Eyed She. And I put it in the, I need a handle on this thing. Hold on. Starry-Eyed She. Okay, there you go. And I will mail them out.
Yeah, that's your Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm also going to retweet you because this way, I guess the chat is to support a Black sister. Feel me? During a panty dummy. Okay. Twitter. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate this. You guys fed into me. I really hope that you guys have an amazing week, and a week that is so audacious, a week that is so creative, and a week that is so playful. It is so playful. So let's play. Let's play. You feel me? Oh, I see my girl Nyla in here. Well, okay. All right. Oh. Hey. All right. I'm going to send the WhatsApp link one more time, and then we out. Thank you guys so much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah.
Night, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to play some exit.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Ari, I can't.
You know when this come on, you like, you 12.
Oh yeah, you gotta turn that up though, Ari. You gotta turn it up.
Guys, you gotta bump that.
You're right. Hey, and hey. Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm turning up now. Okay, we lit.
See, I don't need that. Yeah. Okay, body.
Right. Let me stop eating cookies. Because I really do got to pack a Lorna Doones in front of
Come
me.
through with the body.
Yo, I got mad cookies right here. I've been waiting for this to end to eat these cookies.
That is funny.
Put one hand up to do it. Thank you guys. Hey. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Be safe, you guys.